When you're starting an MSP, there are tons of hidden costs that seem to creep up out of nowhere. Without knowing what they are, they will start to eat at your profits, and hopefully they don't completely crush your business. In this video, I'm going to be covering the top 10 most popular hidden costs that nobody ever expects when it comes to starting their MSP. My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs with sales training and marketing. Before I get into this video, I do have to mention two quick things as always. Number one, there's a masterclass down below. I will put the pricing one down there because a lot of you guys have already gone through the other one, but the pricing masterclass is going to teach you how to make more money, how to price your services, and pros and cons of different pricing models. I highly recommend checking it out. And additionally, there is a pricing calculator completely for free once you sign up. Number two is come hang out with us in the free Discord. We are well past 300 members. I will actually tell you specifically how many members we are currently at the time of making this. We are at 331 videos and growing rapidly. And we'd love to have you be a part of the community from startups all the way to very, very large and successful MSPs. So let's talk about the 10 hidden costs when it comes to actually starting an MSP. And believe it or not, the first one isn't necessarily hidden, but nobody actually takes the time to fully understand not only the costs associated with it, but what happens month after month after month. And if you don't cancel them, they're going to start eating away at you. And that is your software and tool cost. This is easily the biggest one, but most people drastically underestimate how much it's going to actually cost when it comes to starting your MSP. There are tons of great programs from SuperOps to Enable to Atera, Synchro MSP. There are so many of them, and that's just part of it. You're still going to need some kind of CRM or customer relationship manager. That could cost you about $97 a month, all the way into the multi-thousands if you go with the HubSpot or Salesforce option. This can be a massive hidden cost because, yeah, you have some of the tools that you need to work, but what about antivirus? What about backup? What about additional softwares that you want? Maybe it's IT glue. There could be Hoodoo for writing up your documentation. You have to really make sure you do your homework and keep track of your monthly expenses when it comes to these types of things, because they can add up over time. And typically, the more people that you have working for you, yeah, you should be making more money, but that cost does go way up. But right off the bat, the software and tools that you use, while not completely a hidden cost, is a cost that you're going to have to deal with probably for the entire time you're in business. Now, number two is a hidden cost: training and certification trainings. You have to train your employees. It would be nice to just be able to go through a nice line and just pick out the best employees that need zero training. But even the best employees who have the most amazing resume still need training, because the way you operate, your SOGs and your SOPs, standard operating guidelines, and your standard operating procedures still need to be taught to that new employee. That takes time, energy, and effort from multiple people. Sometimes you need multiple people in your organization training that new person or yourself. And additionally, that person may need additional certifications. Maybe they have their CCNA and they want their CCNP. Maybe they haven't ever gotten their A+ and they want to go get their A+. You as a business owner can either choose to pay for some of these things or all of these things, but you still have to pay the person while they're going through training. So you're paying two people for one person to get trained. These are hidden costs that seem to add up very, very quickly, and most people are not actually ready for it. Getting a new employee is super exciting, and you've hit a massive milestone when you get there. But there's definitely additional costs when it comes to that. Next, number three is going to be your infrastructure overhead. You know the lights that you have on in your house or your office? Yeah, that's part of your overhead. Ironically enough, yes, your lights are probably overhead, but you have to pay that every single month. If you want to get an office, whether that's at a Regus, a co-working space, a WeWork, it could range from a couple $100 to a couple $1,000. If you want a full-blown, we'll call it lair, for your MSP services, where you can have a server room, you can have a config room, you can have an office where your techs are going to be, that could be thousands of dollars a month. And not only that, it's not like your subscriptions where you could just cancel anytime. you might be on the hook for sometimes years, depending on what you sign. So you do have to be careful there. And keep in mind too, when you do hire a new employee, guess what every new employee needs? A new computer. That's part of your overhead. You need to be able to buy that part of your operating expense month after month after month, and being able to afford those as time goes on. It's not just going to be you with the computer that you've had all your life. Hopefully not all your life. You have to take this into account as well. Additional pieces of technology that are going to make your life easier, but you need them in order to keep the lights on and take home a paycheck. Number 4 is going to be your cybersecurity. We'll call it measures, because there's a lot that goes into cyber, from getting other softwares, other tools, hiring people in-house, but maybe you want to take it one step further as far as security, not just cyber, but physical. Yes, you could sell physical security and softwares like Cumulex, but there's other platforms as well. What about keeping the doors locked? What about doing some physical security in your own office? Having those areas, having areas where employees can scan through to get actual access to certain things. Cybersecurity is a huge portion of it, but physical security and making sure somebody doesn't get into your building to steal things is a whole nother one. If you're a fairly large MSP, you probably have an office. You probably have a config room. Guess what you need? Not just a basic lock. You're going to need security cameras. You're going to need something additional to make sure you have peace of mind. Cybersecurity as well. You want to make sure that something bad doesn't happen. Take the time to invest in good tools, good technologies, which we've kind of slightly covered already, but security is a real concern, both physical and cyber. Number 5, the most slept on, and I have a great video coming up with a guy named Cyber Joe. If you know him from Reddit, he's extremely popular on there, but cyber insurance and insurance for your MSP. It is a real thing. You need to have some kind of insurance. Hopefully on day one, assuming you can afford something. But if you can't afford any insurance on day one, when you're first getting that customer, you do want to start to look at it very, very soon. Now, insurance isn't terribly expensive, but it is 100% not something cheap or to be slept on at all. It is way more important than even I originally thought. I'm really looking forward to that video coming in the near future. If you've gotten this far in the video, you're going to want to hit that like button. You're going to want to hit that subscribe button, and you're definitely going to want to hit that notification bell so you know when the insurance video drops, probably in about a week or two. But insurance is a real cost. And guess what? You don't want to have to call it, because dealing with insurance is always a nightmare, but you need to have it, because you don't want somebody coming after you for everything, because you're dealing with not just technology and computers. You're dealing with people's livelihoods, how they operate the business, their customers' information. There's a lot of areas that could be really, really sensitive. Having the appropriate amount of insurance is way more important than you can even begin to believe. Number 6, you got to focus on sales and marketing. Yes, sales is usually one of the cheaper expenses. Marketing easily makes up for that, but sales and marketing typically go hand in hand. You need to practice and get good with sales training, but you also need to invest some money in marketing. Whether you're doing it yourself, that is still time and money. You could be hiring other people. That is still money. You have to start investing in it, especially early, because the last thing you want to do is have to spend money when you can't spend money. It is the best time to spend money on sales and marketing is when you already have too many customers. So you could start that ramp up process and continue to grow and scale. But sales and marketing costs money every single month. Even a cheap sales guy, maybe $40,000, $50,000 in base salary, is still almost $1,000 or more per week that you have to be ready to come out of pocket for. Number 7, which is going to be legal and compliancy costs. If you're dealing with HIPAA, you better get ready for this one. If you're not dealing with HIPAA, you still have to make sure that you are legally operating. You filed and started your business, whether that's in another country or in the United States, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, you still have to do that. You can't just skip it. Unfortunately, the government wants to get paid. It's just part of the process. And the last thing you want to do is be in a legal mind. Yes, I do have examples of statements of work and master service agreements and all of that. But at the end of the day, you still need to consult a legal expert in the industry, because you don't want to say, well, I took Harrison's template and it's pretty good, so I'm just going to run with it. Absolutely not. You still need to adjust and modify it so it fits your business, but also have a legal professional give them the good old John Hancock and sign off on it. If you don't, you are not covering your rear end, and you could open yourself up to a ton of problems. Don't be one of those people. Get it dialed in, get it done in advance. On day one, you might not be able to afford it, but as soon as you can, it's one of those expenses you probably want to get out of the way sooner than later. Avoid a couple nights going out and you should be able to pay for it. It shouldn't be terribly, terribly expensive, but it is really important. Number 8 is going to be staffing and staffing flexibility. Yeah, guess what? At some point or another, you're going to be tapped out. You got to be able to bring in new employees. You're going to have to pay those employees money every single month. If you are not bringing in new business all the time and focusing on new customer acquisition, guess what's going to happen? Those employees at some point are just going to sit around and say, this is the easiest job in the world. We don't have to do anything. We're just getting paid today to do literally nothing, dude. It's not what you want. I know it sounds crazy, but you have to be able to hire in a certain number of employees, whether that's 1, 2, 5, 10, to be able to deliver on the workload that is required for your customers. Once again, pricing is super important. There is the masterclass down below. But employee labor is the biggest expense in every MSP, bar none. Unless you're doing crazy, crazy installs where you're dealing with massive amounts of money, your employee labor is going to be the number one expense, guaranteed. After that, it's probably going to be insurance and overhead. That's just the way it goes. But you have to be ready to staff your business effectively and be prepared to hire and train and certify based on what you need. It's part of growing a business, but it is a hidden cost, and people don't think about it. Well, it's going to cost me $25 an hour. It is going to cost you $25 an hour, but you still have to pay for insurance for that person. You still have to pay taxes on that person. Now that $25 an hour employee just became $35 to $40 an hour. It's just how it goes. And then as you grow and scale, what about keeping them around? You're going to want to offer them some kind of pension plan or 401k plan so they can save money and continue to live a better life too. All of these, I know it sounds crazy, are hidden costs. For whatever reason, nobody ever thinks about. Number 9 is customer support and service deliverability. Yes, you're gonna, all the expenses that we've talked about previously compile into this one. Having the appropriate tools, having the staff, having the training. But a lot of people underestimate or overestimate how much time service deliverability and customer support is actually going to take. Now, if you're a veteran business owner, this is probably nothing new to you. But if you're a new MSP business owner, you might want to err on the side of caution for just about everything, because this can be a killer for labor and for all of the other expenses. It just begins to add up and spiral out of control. And depending on your plan, and if you didn't price it correctly, could eat away at your profits. You have to be careful. But while that is the biggest thing that you do, if you're not doing it correctly, you're not being proactive, it could immediately crush your business way faster than you actually thought. And number 10, last but not least, R&D and innovation. While yes, you're an MSP and you're providing a service, there are plenty of ways to innovate. Maybe you're an MSP and you want to be an MSSP. In this case, we're going to use, instead of security, we're going to use solution, a managed service solution provider, building out those solutions. That takes time, energy, effort, and money, but you're going to have something completely unique that most other MSPs aren't going to have. Research and development and innovation does cost money, but it could be the thing that sets you further ahead in the pack, and could be some benefits to charge more as well. There's tons in here, but these are easily my top 10 hidden expenses for your MSP. I hope you guys found some value in this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. I love the heck out of you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. And there's a bunch of super helpful links down below.